Okay, so you know how we could not figure out where bad weather came from?
Yeah, it's bad.
Wait, no, I mean, I understand that it's Whitney and Heather.
Yeah.
But do you know who came up with it?
No.
So I went to look up Lisa quotes just because I was like, Lisa says so many funny things. Yeah. I didn't want to know everything she said. She's the one. It was at the first reunion, and she was like, oh, here we go. Whitney and Heather, bad weather, tornado, spin the truth, destroy. I was like, I can't believe, like, because I kept feeling like, where did this come from?
Nice.
Lisa coined bad weather.
I love her even more.
I know. Hi, this is Caitlin.
And this is Sharon.
And welcome to Real Housewives on Real Housewives, where we unravel housewives' story threads and keep the tea flowing.
So chic.
Hold on to your snowflakes.
This is episode 13, and we're talking Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 3, Lisa Barlow.
Yay, Lisa!
We love Lisa.
All right. We've got Lisa versus the rumors, and don't worry, that includes Finsta. And we've got Lisa versus Heather. So we're going to start out with Lisa versus the rumors. So that's kind of what sums up Lisa this season. There's a lot of rumors flying around. And I guess we should start with the biggest rumor is, of course, Lisa and the favors. So favors, I'm going to put that in quotes, for Vita and favors for Jazz tickets. I found a page 6 article and they kind of explained it as the rumors were that she performed favors in exchange for Utah Jazz basketball tickets, a business loan, and prominent placement for her Vita tequila brand. So that's what is flying around the rumor mill. So rumors about Lisa in general, her personal life, and then also her business life. So where are the rumors coming from?
Meredith.
Yeah. I think Meredith, pretty much. Meredith acts so innocent this season about it, but Meredith plants the seeds for all the rumors. I mean, every time we see it, she's, oh, did you hear about the bit? I mean, I'm not saying it's like just she lawyers her way out of it. Like just because she's saying I have no culpability doesn't mean she isn't the one who brought it up. Like we constantly see her bring it up throughout the season.
Yeah. So when she talks to, when it first comes up from Meredith's mouth is when she's talking to Whitney about it, right? But so she kind of brings it up, but Whitney's like, well, what have you heard? Because Whitney's actually heard stuff too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering
she's not without,
where are they hearing this from? Angie H?
I know. And then Angie H acts like she's not heard it. But what I think is interesting is I feel like Angie H acts like she didn't hear the Jazz basketball tickets thing. And I think that there's like some play with words. Like, it wasn't the tickets. It was like the seats. Or like it wasn't the tickets. It was actually her business. I mean, it wasn't, that's not exactly what I said. And therefore she's just like, didn't say it.
Okay.
I don't know. That's again, possible. When we talk about the Finsta, I think there's a lot of reasons not to trust Angie H.
But it's such a juvenile rumor.
So juvenile.
Like, I don't think she cares that much about basketball. I
mean, obviously, why do you think Meredith's doing this? For me, it's like eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Meredith is upset because Lisa had the hot mic rant.
And the hot mic specifically said that she had been with many people.
Yeah, she was a loose woman.
So you're right. So that it kind of correlates there.
Exactly. It's like not Lisa, but Meredith was like, okay, so she came after my family. She came after my personal, like, history. And she came after my businesses by coming after my family. Yeah. So she turns around and does the same thing for Lisa, and then she acts like, I just heard these the whole time. The gloves are off. And it's like, I'm sure there's rumors flying around about everybody, but like the timing is very suspicious to bring it up right now. So it's like Whitney, to some extent, is the one who brings the rumors into the whole group.
Yeah. Because like you said, Whitney just can't hold on to information.
I know. And Heather really runs with it, even though she's not as loud and she doesn't put it forth as much, but she's gossiping about it. She's laughing about it. She and Whitney are giggling about it in the room. So Heather does too. And then also Angie H. What bothers me too is I think that the rumors are really, we discussed it a couple episodes ago, but it's what tear Whitney and Heather apart.
Yes. And
then Meredith does nothing to salvage it. Like, you're the one who started. I do feel like you're the one who planted the seed. And then you watch these friends implode, and that's not what you really wanted. You wanted Lisa to implode. Lisa really takes the high road. Like, she's not as bothered by this as I think that she could have been or should have been. And maybe part of it is she does think it's a little bit of her punishment. Like, maybe there's a part of her that's like, well, Meredith has to get this off her chest.
Yeah.
So I'll just let her say all this stuff. I'll rebut it, and then maybe we'll be friends again, which does not work.
Yeah, because Meredith doesn't care. I mean, she's just whatever with Heather.
Mhm.
They're kind of aligned because of Jen. And Meredith and Whitney, I mean, the only reason they got mad is because Whitney kind of said, oh, Meredith said this.
Exactly.
So she really doesn't have much against Whitney.
No. Uh-uh.
So, yeah, she could have come in and tried to...
And I mean, what's interesting is like, you know, Heather and Whitney were both discussing the rumors before Whitney spells them. And Heather pretty much told Whitney, don't go out and say these things. And then Whitney does. But Lisa's actually very thankful to Whitney for spilling them because she's like, thank you for not talking about this completely behind my back. Thank you for bringing it up to me. And I kind of can't decide. Initially, I'm like, is Lisa just worried she'll have nobody to film with if she doesn't? But she and Whitney do seem to create an actual bond. Like, I like their friendship. And earlier on, I wouldn't have put those two together.
I wouldn't have either. I think Lisa thought Whitney was just telling her so she knew. Maybe she didn't know. I mean, Whitney had been kind of gossiping and laughing a little bit, but I don't think Whitney has a mean spirit. I don't think she actually believed it.
No, I don't.
So I don't. But the other thing about Meredith is, remember when she was talking to Whitney and brought it up, she's like, "Oh, I think it's ridiculous, but I've heard that." You know, it's like,
exactly.
Well, if you think it's ridiculous,
to it, but did you hear it?
Yeah, I know.
Intense detail. And it's interesting because, like, you know, like Elisa immediately calls John whenever the rumors come up. And, like, I can't decide whether that's, you know, like support, damage control, both. I think it's both.
Yeah.
I mean, but what I'm impressed is that she doesn't sweep it under the rug with John. She doesn't wait until the episode airs. Like, she's like, this is a problem, and they do attack it as a team.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool aspect. Actually, that's kind of true of a lot of the relationships. The men in this Housewives in Salt Lake, they do seem to be teams with their wives. And I think that's interesting. Yeah. Like, they're friends. Like, the guys are all friends, too. But they do back each other up. They don't just... At the same time, they also don't come out in the forefront and take control. Like, they let the women handle it. But they do support them. And that's kind of cool.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm not sure we see that in all the seasons.
Yeah.
Other cities.
Yeah, and I think that the way Lisa... I think she went to John because they're so close. And it's like, this is the ridiculous thing. She's not even mad... She's mad that they're gossiping and saying these bad things. She's not mad about the implication because she knows it's not true.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm not scared that John's going to be mad because it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's not that same fear you have when you're like, damage control.
Yeah, she's more like, I'm so upset because people are gossiping and saying bad things about me.
It made me think about husbands, but we should say happy anniversary to Sharon and our sound editor, Thomas.
Yay!
Because today's their anniversary on St. Patrick's Day when we're recording.
16 years.
Yeah, and so it's like, I think Thomas is kind of our support system. I say it like we're sister wives. We're not.
He's our podcast support.
But I do think it's really cool. Like, I think like this isn't something, like, he has a day job.
Yeah,
like, this isn't something he has to do.
Pays a lot more than this one.
I know. He totally supports us and answers all of our really dumb questions. Yeah. Like, he would probably say, they're not great questions, guys. But he's really been there for us through this whole thing. And I think it's sweet that, like, we want to do this and he's, like, there for you and your annoying best friend who wants to do it too.
I love you, Thomas. He's pretending that's yours.
Yeah. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to step on our thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too cool.
Anyway, thank you, Thomas. All right. So that brings us to the healing ceremony that does not live up to its name. Yet it's a very Arizona thing to do. So they travel to Arizona and they have this healing ceremony. And I think what like categorizes the season is that Lisa wants to move forward. Meredith does not want to move forward. And I think Lisa even says before the ceremony starts, like, if Meredith doesn't want to move forward, there's nothing I can do about it, which is true. Meredith's late to the ceremony. Like, I think she was hoping she missed it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And then, like, everyone says what they're letting go of. And I think it's the only time, the reason I think this is important is I think it's the only time that Lisa and Meredith address the problems between them from the hot mic moment, and it's the only time they, like, directly speak to each other about them. So, like, Meredith says, Lisa, like, Lisa says, I used to feel like a safe space for you, and I'm sorry, Meredith. And then Meredith's like, well, you're not a safe space for me.
Yeah, that was really
harsh.
That was a hard scene to watch. And, I do think Meredith didn't come, she had said how she had, like, done this kind of spiritual work before, and it was really intense. Yeah. So I don't think it's just that she was being, like, disrespectful about not coming. I think she really didn't want to face a lot of those feelings.
I think so too.
And when she said that to Lisa, I really felt crushed for Lisa.
I did too, because I thought at that point maybe there was a chance.
Yeah.
And I think we all saw that the chance is very, very small, or it's going to take a lot of time to heal it. But what I hated was when Meredith was like, well, I never fully confided in you because I never fully trusted you. And that feels like a junior high thing. Like, well, I never liked you anyway.
And was she saying,
I think that's
our whole friendship.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like our whole friendship was a lie. So
like we were never really that close. Yeah. You weren't really that good.
Yeah, I gave you my Jell-O salad recipe, but I didn't really tell you how I feel about it.
What is it called? Watergate? No, Watergate salad. I don't know.
I always forget that's a salad. Yeah,
pistachio pudding salad.
Yeah, I think I'd rather call it that.
Okay, I like Jell-O salad.
Also, what was interesting too, because I guess if I were Lisa, and I had been saying constantly like, I didn't really think those things. They just came out. Like, what happened? Like, it was just a moment. But then the interviewer says to her, like, did you make up what you said in the rant? And Lisa was like, no, it's the truth. And it was like, okay, you guys are just being real, like, mean sisters to each other. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that Meredith does is goes, like, well, I think you need to get help for this. Like, and if you can't go and get help, then I can't help you. And it's like, even Heather, who steps in it all the time, is like, dude, that's going to trigger her. Like, stop.
And it's so condescending.
So condescending. Like, I don't have any problems, but clearly you need to go to, I don't know, like rant rehab? Is that
I don't know.
Hot mic rehab?
Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of help, Meredith.
Sounds like magic mic. Every time I say hot mic, I can't think of anything else. That's what they should have called that third movie. Magic mic, hot mic. Do you think that Meredith can ever trust Lisa again?
I think she could. I think if they work through it, they could have some level of trust. Maybe they wouldn't be best friends again, but I think they could be good friends again where their families get together and stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like they could move past it because it was bad, but it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't that bad.
Like on Housewives, there's always something worse that happens.
Exactly.
So it's like you always think, well, that's it. That's the worst. And then it's like something else happens. I still maintain like she didn't swindle old people on a lot of money. So you gotta... So she said some mean words about you.
Yeah.
So then they're roller skating, and Dana tells Lisa that like Meredith is talking about her SEC filing. So that's kind of the other rumor. But then again, there's such kids about it because Lisa comes back and is like, "Well, I don't pop pills." It's just like, okay, it's one-upmanship completely. Like you did this, I did this, you did this.
Well, and it's also interesting because they're weaponizing like. Mm-hmm. medication and therapy when they're doing this whole fundraiser for like mental health awareness.
That's really true. Because they're talking about medication and they're talking about you should get help. Like, do you mean it or don't you mean it?
Yeah.
And then when they're all talking about the limo, it's kind of funny when Meredith's like, well, I wouldn't want to crowdfund at this stage of my life.
I know.
What does that mean? And that sounds like a rich lady thing to say.
That did. It really sounded like, oh man, she's in her, she's just in the fledgling phases of her business. She's not established like me.
So do you think anyone, like, is there a winner in those rumors about Lisa?
I think Lisa comes out on top because I think everyone can recognize that it's really stupid. Mm-hmm. Now, wouldn't it be funny if it was true?
Right. It was like, after all that trouble.
Yeah, after all that. We're like, oh, really? Seriously? She did that for basketball tickets?
But I mean, I still think she might come out on top because, I don't know, Lisa's just Lisa. Like, she's very real.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't read a book by her, so we don't
know true.
How real she is.
And I think she's real, but she's also not that deep.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how it seems.
But I think that works really well in the Housewives universe.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think Meredith is probably deeper and gets frustrated with her sometimes.
Yes, I think so. But I also feel like Meredith's not always the best at explaining what she's actually frustrated about.
Yes.
She throws out all these other things, and I feel like that's so confusing because you can't always figure out where Meredith is coming from. Uh-huh. And that makes it complicated.
Yeah.
All right, so our next rumor is my favorite because it's like the new word we learned. So it's Finsta.
Finsta?
Which is a fake Instagram account.
I know. That is so cool. I remember when I first heard it on the show, and I was like...
And then I'm like, well, aren't all of the Instagram accounts fake? I mean, like, if you look at, like, my 8 pictures that are, like, highly tuned and very pretty moments of life, it's like...
Hey, our RH_on_RH Instagram account
exactly.
is not fake.
That one's not fake. That was real. That was us normally just being our crazy housewives loving selves. But my favorite is at Lisa's quote. It kind of sets off this whole thing. The bad truth is better than a good lie. Do you think that's true?
I don't fully understand it.
I do feel like it's fancy words. Doesn't it?
Like, I kind of could get confused.
I still want her on a pillow, though.
I guess she's saying it's better to tell the truth than lie?
no, she said she always tells her kids that. So I think what she's saying is, I'd rather you came to me and said, this is the awful thing that happened.
Got it.
In all of its dirty, messy, ness, rather than going, here's a beautiful lie. Instead, like, I'd rather you just told me the truth. Like, I feel better in the messiness of truth than I feel in the beautifulness of like a better told story.
Yeah.
I guess. So anyway, Lisa sent the Finstagram account to Jen to make her aware, and that was because it was called Shaw Exposed, like just X, no EX. But the post they show on the show is of the account actually dissing Lisa. And as we looked online and stuff, everything pretty much says that the account was set up to diss Lisa.
Yeah, so they set up a fake Instagram account called Shaw Exposed, but then proceed to only rag on Lisa.
Why wouldn't you just call it like Barlow Sucks or
something? Like Barlow Exposed or like Salt Lake City Housewives Exposed. Or I don't know, I guess.
I guess they really thought that Jen Shaw's search was getting so much more search. But you can hashtag 1,000 different things. So I don't understand why you just wouldn't hashtag Jen Shaw too.
Huh. Well, Chris Harrington is old, so he probably doesn't know that.
He's 52.
I'm younger than him, and I don't know that stuff.
Yeah, Angie H is 40. And they have a toddler, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Angie, it turns out that Chris is the one who made it.
Yeah. So he's Angie Harrington's husband, and Angie Harrington is a friend of the Housewives. So he set up this account. And when you see him, he's like a bear cub of a guy. Know. Like, he's got the big fuzzy beard, and he's a little, like, chubby and stuff, which I have no problem with. But he just doesn't look like the kind of guy sitting around coming up with fake Instagram accounts.
No.
Like, I don't know, maybe he has a media background or something, or like a PR background, but
apparently
I also
not, because like
not
the content and
He's not going to win an award for it. But so like Meredith and Seth, they meet with him, and he's like, yeah, so I set up this account, and I set it up to troll Lisa. Yeah. And it's
and he says he set it up because like basically because his wife was being
so I mean, remember Angie H got embroiled in all that stuff with Lisa last season about the canceling of the caterers at our party. Did Lisa cancel the caterers? There was like that whole thing. Like, let's get over that. The party was still lovely. I don't understand the whole deal. Like, they were really pissed at Lisa for some reason. And then it's like Angie says to Meredith, like, we're both trauma bonded about Lisa. It's like, okay. I mean, I just feel like Angie H and they must need money or something. Like, they are trying so bad to get on this show. Yeah. But like, for a 52-year-old to be trolling.
Do you think he wanted to be found out?
That's interesting because that gives them a storyline.
Yeah, because, I mean, what's the point of making it if no one knows you made it?
That's interesting.
I guess unless you really are just ragging on Lisa.
They're so desperate for attention, though.
Like, I don't think they do anything not for
My
attention.
initial question that I was going to ask you was, do you think that Angie Harrington set it up and Chris took the fall so that she could still keep the job and she didn't look so bad? Like, honey, you created this. Here, let me show you.
You know, I hadn't thought of it, but now that you say that, like, I definitely thought that she knew about it or was involved.
There was a Reddit thread that
there's
said
no way
didn't do it.
He sat down by himself and was like, Jen Shaw Exposed.
What should I call it, honey?
Do
you like Jen Shaw Exposed with the either that one's taken?
Or just
What if I just drop the E, or should I put like an exclamation point at the end of it? Or an LOL?
He
was like going online and like finding unattractive pictures of Lisa in the press and like putting them on there with like fun fonts.
Well, plus that is such a... Okay, so...
Did he not have a job?
Not to be like sexist, but usually most men are kind of like, whatever, ignore it. Like, I don't know, it's typically with my husband.
That's a lot of work. That's not even just like getting involved. Like, sometimes our husbands, I can tell, will get involved in the Housewives gossip with us. But they're not sitting around.
They wouldn't like go to that length. Whereas I could see Angie H. I could see her going to that length.
Was I picturing like you send your husband like online to add something to the grocery list, and before you know it, they're like looking up sports scores or like like they're on some like really look at what the dog is doing. And like, it's like I don't like the focus.
Yeah,
that Chris would have had to pull this off. But I don't see that happening. Or maybe she did ask him to make a grocery list, and he was like, "I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm going to make a Jen Shaw Exposed account.
I'll do this for you, honey.
And troll Lisa Barlow, haha."
Instead of all that, I do that.
I just wanted you to put crackers on the list.
But when they met at the dinner and they admitted to it, you could tell Meredith and Seth were kind of like disgusted. Like what is wrong with you?
Who signed us up for this dinner? I'd rather be in the bathtub talking about inappropriate stuff.
I know.
Then, you know, it all comes to a head at Heather's choir auditions. And I mean, can we talk about Lisa at the choir auditions just for a moment?
Okay. So this is like Caitlin's favorite part. What is your favorite part, Caitlin?
I love it. Because she sings, oh my gosh, what does she sing? Oh, she sings Away in a Manger. And it's like, here's the funny thing. You should go, oh my God, this is cringy. It's like, it's so sweet from Lisa. Like, what is it about Lisa that I just love?
It is.
She can do I want to say like campy. Like, she can do the campiest stuff. And I love it. Like, she had these ads on her real Instagram, not her Finsta. But for Wendy's, and she was like, she had ski equipment that had Wendy's logo on it. And it's like, if anybody else did that, I would be like, are you kidding me? What are you, Angie H?
Yeah.
But like Lisa, I just feel like has this genuineness. There's something about her that is just so sweet and innocent, maybe even. I don't know. That you're just like, that's Lisa.
Yeah.
And when she sings too, I'm just like, that's Lisa.
I know. I really liked it.
An angel. And I totally buy a Christmas album. Lisa.
I would.
Just throwing that out there.
And I thought it was cute when she was like practicing to her husband. She's like, no. And like, it was
just
sweet.
Genuine. And again, I mean, I feel like, and we'll go into Lisa and Heather in a second, but again, I do feel like Lisa tries to reach out in these little moments. And I do think she's reaching out to Heather. We can come back to that. But the other thing that's interesting is it just feels so junior high when they're talking about it at the choir auditions and they get so mad. And it's like, she's mad at her, who's mad at her, and she's sitting with her, and she's in her chair, and the whole thing is so much more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Over a fake Instagram account.
And Jen, what's kind of interesting? Oh,
yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about Jen?
No, I think we should, because what Jen says here, I'm not sure relates when we're in our Jen episode, and I think it's important.
Jen basically says, like, when you are married to someone, I don't know the exact, here.
It's in there,
When you get married to someone, that is your other half. I am responsible for what Sharif does and vice versa, and so are you. I
felt like that was one of the most, I want to say damning statements.
Yes. Because of, obviously when she pleads guilty.
I felt like I would be like, Bravo, take that out.
Yeah, why would she even say that?
I couldn't believe it. Like, I understand that she's saying that Angie H needs to be held responsible for her husband's behavior, but does Sharif need to be held responsible for yours then? Yeah, it cuts both ways. That's dangerous.
Let's say Angie H's husband did do it, mostly on his own.
Angie H's husband.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the scene. She calls him, I'm not saying the mean part, but she calls him elf on a shelf husband.
Like a cheap elf.
A cheap elf on a shelf husband. I love it. I don't even know.
Although it almost made me like him more.
Exactly. And who did she say wanted to hang around them, basically because they had money and she thought the elf on the shelf husband would keep them in riches? Who was she talking about?
I don't remember.
Was it Heather? No.
Maybe. Yeah, it would make sense because Heather's probably... And Heather was the one that Angie H was like sitting on Heather's lap. And
does Angie H ever deny knowing that he did the account?
That's a good question. I don't think she straight up does. I think she just acts dumb.
Because, I don't
think it's fair is I feel like Jen demands, because Jen is who Jen is, but she demands this huge apology from them. Mm-hmm. Like, they have to go on an apology tour and apologize to Sharif and everything. But, like, Lisa never really gets an apology for it. And they pretty much say, like, we created this to troll Lisa.
Yeah.
I don't think Lisa gets an apology for it. And she rolls on from it.
Yeah, because Lisa's Jen just goes crazy and flips out on her over and over. That, she gets the apology.
I'm thinking, too, as I keep thinking, like, man, Lisa just lets us go. She lets it go. She lets it go. I think that's, at first I was like, maybe, I don't understand why she can't understand maybe why Meredith can't let the hot mic moment go. Yeah. But now I think that I do. Because I think if you look at it from Lisa, is constantly forgiving people and letting it go.
Yeah.
So she doesn't understand when people don't extend the same to her. And not to say that Meredith needs to necessarily, but I think that from where Lisa sits in her world, she forgave Whitney for telling these awful rumors about her. She lets the Angie H thing go. I mean, she just tries to rise above it. And so I think she expects other people to as well. And then I think where she's standing, she's kind of like, okay, I lost it for a moment. And I feel that way sometimes too. Like sometimes I hold a lot in and then I'll lose it and everyone will be like, oh, let's just remember that moment forever. And it's like, okay, but it was like one in years and years of me holding it together, and I feel a little bit like, I think that's kind of where Lisa's coming from. Like it all came out in one drunken moment.
And there's that one dinner where they're at, where Heather and Whitney are fighting about the rumors and who said what. And Lisa, they're talking about the rumors. Their point is who told who and who knew. Right. But they're talking about the rumors in front of Lisa as though they're not talking about her and her husband and her life. Yeah. And she was like, guys, I'm here. And she could have absolutely lost her mind there.
Oh, she could have. She stays really calm about it. And I think you're right. I think that proves even more that it's not real. Because if you wanted to cover it up, you'd be jumping in.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's able to just go, "Okay, guys,
this is so dumb."
Like, she gets a little more upset almost about the business thing.
She does.
She's like, that does have a direct correlation to how I make my money. Mm-hmm. And something that I'm really passionate. I mean, she's very passionate about her business. Mm-hmm. She said that from season 1. So I guess who wins there? I think the word finsta. Because it is now part of our vocabulary. Well, it'll be the word of the year next year.
I think Chris, Elf on the Shelf, lost.
I think big time. I'm not sure that he will get a job in social media.
I think Lisa comes out on top because because she's fun and drinks Diet Coke, and then it made everyone else look really kind of
I just want to be Lisa when
mean
I grow
to
up.
her. They made everyone else look mean. Yeah.
So then our last verses is Lisa versus Heather. And I feel like this is mostly important because, again, it kind of just affects the relationships with all the other women. So Heather and Lisa's dad, the issue at hand is the obituary text discussion. So Heather in a talking head says that, like, Lisa had posted Heather's dad's obituary to show that Lisa was in fact a good friend, with a picture showing that her dad's obituary was April 17th, 2020, and Lisa's text saying, "Is your dad feeling better?" was April 15th, 2020. So she did send that text before Heather's dad died, because Heather said in the reunion that Lisa said, like, she cared so little and paid so little attention to her life that she didn't even know her dad was dead, and she was like, "Oh, how's he doing?"
Yeah.
And that Lisa, and okay, do you think that this is as big of a problem as it's made out to be?
No.
I don't either.
Okay, so I understand what Lisa shouldn't have retweeted it, but I kind of get why.
I kind of get why too.
Because she gets called out for a lot of stuff, and I think she was just like, okay, you know what? This is irritating me because this just did not happen that way. Mm-hmm. And she put it out there. She probably should have moved on, but she did it. And I don't see why Heather then went and flipped out about it, because she was like, "You retweeted my dad's obituary." It's his obituary exists. Exactly. I don't understand why.
Right. It wasn't dug up.
It's not like it's a bad thing. Yeah. She's just really restating the dates. It has nothing to do with his obituary.
Could have figured it out.
Yeah, like he's...
And Heather was the one who brought it up at the reunion to make Lisa look bad.
Yeah.
And I think Lisa wasn't prepared. She didn't have her receipts there. So she put them on the line. I don't know. And again, Heather says, like, "Well, you lost me forever." I mean, that's kind of her theme this season, I guess.
Yeah, she's
not going to have anybody to film with.
I know.
And again, like, when Lisa shows up and she sings "Away in the Manger" at Heather's thing, like, I think that's her way of reaching out.
Yeah. Oh, God. But the worst part, so when they're fighting about it at the choir thing, and she's fighting with Heather, and Lisa says something like, "Do you even like," I don't know if she says, "Do you even like me?" or "Do you like me, Heather?" Yeah. And there's this long pause. Yeah. And then Heather says something like, "Why does that matter? Is that important to you?" Yeah. She doesn't say yes or no. She basically says no without saying no. Yeah. And it's so strange, and I hated it. Oh my God, I hated it. I hated Heather there.
And I think it's completely, like, when we were reading back through this, and I was like, well, how important is this? I think it is, because when you think about what happens with Whitney and Heather, I think it's super important. The fact that Whitney and Lisa become so close, with Heather having this obituary drama with Lisa, pushes Heather just to the brink. So she is done. I think she's done with Whitney before we even have any of the fights that she and Whitney have. So as much as she blames Whitney for closing the friendship and removing her, Heather's done. She's mad that she's friends with the person that she now says, like, that has lost her forever.
Yeah. Which, I'm not understanding that.
I do not understand it at all, to be perfectly honest. Can we talk about Lisa's diet?
Yes.
Because I love her diet. So for one thing, it's the big gulp Diet Cokes, which we have here in honor of Lisa. Yes. That's what we're drinking right now. I feel like we should make, like, a drinking noise, but that made no noise at all. No, that doesn't work. But anyway, in honor of you, Lisa, that's one of our favorite things too. And I just love the fact that she, like, often has a Diet Coke in front of her in so many scenes. And I love when she's with Whitney and they're playing with the kids and she's just, like, sitting there and she's got her big gulp and she has hot tamales candy. It's just like she is a candy and Diet Coke drinker.
It's
like
perfect.
She's like my youngest child.
I know.
But my favorite is in San Diego when she's like, "You guys, I'm going to go grab a Kit Kat and get ready for the day." Like, I feel like I need that tattooed on me somewhere.
I know.
Because Kit Kats are the best.
Yeah, I love her forever just for drinking Diet Coke. I hate it because I feel like rich people might be a little more like, I don't ingest Diet Coke or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, and she's just like, yeah, whatever. I drink like 1,000 ounces a day.
Exactly.
I just love
She's just like completely honest about it. I mean, she's just honest about her like fast food eating in that first season when they're going around to different places. Like, she loves Taco Bell. Like, we know this about her. Like, she's just so relatable, and I love that because it's also like it's kind of a fun way to be like, dude, I have all these high profile businesses. I have a lot of money. Like, I'm not cooking for myself all the time. I'm not even going to pretend it. Like, I'm not going to bring in a private chef to set up plates and stuff so it looks like it's like she's not posing. Like, she's just being like, this is not a part of me that like most of you would be like, good job, super proud of you for that eating style. But she's like, it's who I am. And like, I'm not going to hide it. And so I think that when you see those things, then you can take other parts of her more seriously too. Yeah. Do you think she's going to come out with a diet book? Because I would buy it. But I'll buy any diet book.
See, I think I have the same diet as her. I just eat like 30 times the amount she does.
That's the problem. I want to be like, I've tried this diet and it doesn't really work for me.
I think you can only eat like one Kit Kat and like that's all until nighttime. Then you get like 5 hot tamales and that's it.
Yeah. You don't just keep eating all day.
It's not like a continuous.
Maybe it's like a fasting diet mixed with
intermittent candy fasting.
But I just love like thinking about her like getting her hair ready for the day with a Kit Kat and a Diet Coke. Like, just makes me happy. Also, it's like sometimes she just can't say names of stuff. Like, do you remember what she like Turks and queso?
Oh God, that was the best. Turks and queso.
I could go for some
I've said that like multiple times since that's happened to me.
That's a hard word to say.
Turks and queso. No, I've said it on purpose just because I love it.
Oh, okay.
Turks and queso.
I also just can't say queso. All right, so we're excited because we did purchase Vida Tequila. We're not quite ready to try it yet. We're going to save it for our end of the series wrap up. Plus, we feel like maybe we need to bring in somebody else who actually knows what tequila should taste like because we don't have a clue. Our friend Stephanie was like, well, you'll know if it's bad.
Yeah, we're like, will we? I don't
know. What if it's really good and we still think it's bad? So we feel like we need a little bit more of like someone with a tequila palate?
A palate? Yeah. Yeah.
No.
We love you, Lisa.
All right, we love you, Lisa. And we're going to be drinking our Diet Cokes and honoring you.
Yes.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe. And if you'd like to help support us, please share this podcast with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and a review. Thanks again, and remember to stay out of the shade.